For some for some reason, I was prompted to do this later in the evening, listening and relaxing through my heart and soul to some theta waves, beautiful theta waves. That's what I listen to some evenings before I go into the dreamscape, right? And I was perusing through a few things that, because people are making higher connections, right, to higher levels of consciousness that are running at higher operating levels, and make comments, beautiful comments, to see the levels that people are operating at, right? And that's really what it is. And so I tried to simplify it, because I'm still that little child, to try to take the complexity of it, because the information is so vast, right? And then just condense it down into very simple terms. So I'm sitting here thinking about this, because it really is what we feel in our heart and our soul, how powerful our emotional body is, right? And somebody on, I believe it was called the Next Level Soul podcast, who asked a question. I just saw it. It was just one little line as I'm scrolling through all these little videos that are going by. And then all of a sudden, half hour later, it's like a little birdie wanted me to visit that and go a little deeper into that. And the texter, the commenter, asked a question and said, how much light can you hold? Wow. That's a big question, isn't it? So I mulled that around for a little while, and that's what prompted me to do this. When we examine or observe a planetary motherboard, right? Or if you want to build a motherboard, a circuit board, any circuit board, you have resistors and you have capacitors, right? Okay. So if you've listened to any of the previous videos about what it means to have zero resistance, then the next question that I would respond back with another question is, what do you think the level of capacity is when you're asking a question about how much light you can hold? What do you think the capacitor is for an eternal sun? Because that's what I experience. That's eternal capacity. That's the torque speed differential between what? Zero resistance and experiencing density. The pre-phase and the level that we operate at to experience God's eternal sun, which is God's eternal love. That's eternal capacity. That's an eternal capacitor. That's an eternal sun, which means accelerating electrons, giving them away at the highest rate of speed, is never off. That engine is always on. So that's how I would answer that question as I go Betty by tonight, listening to some theta waves and thanking you all for being here. Have a good night. Kamalohati. Mua. The language of Mua. Sweet dreams.